Good afternoon, everyone. The time is now 4:16. I now call the meeting to order. Stephanie, please take the roll.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Bayham,
Here.
Mr. Boynton. Mr. Doyle.
Here.
Mr. Meta. Ms. Tanner,
Here.
Mr. Taylor,
Here.
Ms. Washington,
Here.
Ms. Stewart. 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Stephanie. Before we start, here are the meeting rules. For people in the room, raise your hand if you want to speak. Wait until I call on you before talking. Keep side conversations quiet. Stay on the topic we are discussing. For committee members joining by Zoom, you must be on camera with your full name showing to count for the quorum. Keep your microphone off unless I call on you. Click raise hand if you want to speak. Wait until I call on you before unmuting. For all attendees, the Q&A box is only for people who ask for ADA accommodation. It is not for public comment. Committee members in person speak first, then ones on Zoom. Then in-person public members, then public members on Zoom. Please be patient. Hybrid meetings can be hard to manage. If we run short on time, comments may be limited. Comments about a person's character are not allowed. Public members will have one chance to comment on each agenda item. Each person has 2 minutes. Public comment will also happen before a vote or at other times if I allow it. Let's work together to keep the meeting respectful and on track. All right, everyone should have reviewed the April meeting summary. A copy is in your packet and linked in the agenda sent by email. I now need a motion to accept the minutes.
This is Leon, motion to accept the minutes.
Thank you.
April.
Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. The April meeting summary passes by unanimous consent. Our first agenda item is an update from the Governor's Office of Disability Affairs. M. Doyle will now give his update.
Hi, everyone. Liam Doyle here from the Governor's Office. Stephanie asked me to add a report to this, so I'm happy to do that. The big thing for us is that our GOTA conference is going to happen next week at the Claiborne Building at the Capitol Park. We have 2 days worth of content, and it's going to be a great slate. That conference is free to go, free to attend, but if you have not signed up yet, you need to do so as soon as possible. Just make sure that you have, the appropriate information in terms of the agenda and things like that. I have an agenda included to this, and also we'll have that tomorrow as well, available for anyone who wants it. But we also have it on our website, as well as going to be in our newsletter that's going out on Friday. So yeah, really great information there. We recently put out a video that was in partnership with the Department of Health on summer safety and specifically water safety. And for that, we've focused on families with children with disabilities, and Julia Tanner, who is a new member of this committee, was one of the video participants, and I think it came out really well, so that was great. And the last big thing is that GACTA itself has had a lot of success recently going on the road. Both our office and the advisory council really wants to meet people where they are, so we have been going to different areas of the state to meet with existing mayor presidents' awareness committees, kind of figure out what their needs are, what their projects are, how we can support. So we did, Lafayette was the first one, and then the one we did last go around which was last month, was the Lake Charles area. So what we do with that is we go meet them, attend their committee meetings. Like I said, kind of get an idea of what their needs are and how we can support. And then what we'll do is the following GATTA meeting, we turn it into a showcase of that area's both organizational leadership and also just community sports. So we highlight a lot of what they do. So we did the thing with Lafayette, where we had about 20 to 30 different organizations represented, really talking to each other and kind of coming up with ideas on how to improve the area. We're gonna do the same thing with our August GACTA meeting, except this one's gonna focus primarily on the Lake Charles area. So it's been a really, I think, eventful and very fruitful outreach program that we've been working on. I think it's been really successful so far. And our next plan is to expand to the Shreveport area, then eventually we'll do Lake Charles, New Orleans as well. So that's pretty much all I have in terms of major points for us. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Liam. As he stated, are there any questions before we move on?
I was just wondering if you all were going to start up any of the like ad hoc committees that GACTA had. I know they had like a transportation committee and who's the other one?
Yes, so
Education. Are you all still planning to like revamp? I mean, you know.
Yes.
start those?
we are actively working on that. The three main ones that we have right now are accessibility, transportation, and I believe planning is the last one. And Julia, please feel free to jump in if I'm missing anyone. But those are gonna start, I believe, in September. So in the next month or two, we're gonna start that and we're out. So we've been planning that for quite a while. We're gonna get that started very soon.
I'm sorry, can you repeat those? Accessibility, transportation, and planning?
I believe so, yeah. Accessibility, transportation, not transportation and planning, but transportation.
Three separate ones.
Yes, yeah.
Correct, okay.
Okay, any other questions? Okay,
Oh, I'm sorry, not planning, emergency preparedness. I don't know where that came from. That was, yeah. So take that back. Accessibility, transportation, emergency preparedness. Those are the three. Yeah, you're welcome.
okay. Questions? All right, next we will have an update from the LSU Human Development Center. Ms. Constance will now give her update.
Good afternoon. How was everyone? So I was just going to share some information about our Lessard project as well as our paycheck program. In terms of Lessard, we recently presented at the Teacher Leader Conference, and then we also we had staff that presented at a conference in Arizona on AI. And we also presented to 50 participants from Whole Health Louisiana, which was an initiative through the Louisiana Department of Health at ULL on trauma-informed care for individuals with disabilities, understanding experiences, and improving best practices. And that group did find the training very helpful to them. So that was a good outcome of that particular training. And then in terms of currently, we're working on getting contracts for next year to support with school districts across the state. And then Stephanie has a video that she is going to share about Paycheck, just to give everybody an understanding of kind of what Paycheck is and what we do with that work.
And Constance, I'm sorry, are you ready for me to show that right now?
Yes, please.
Perfect. Sorry, let me make sure I'm sharing this correctly. It's like weird thing that. So I'm just gonna let everybody on the Zoom know. We did a test earlier to make sure that y'all could hear the video. It worked when we tried it. Please let me know if it does not work, and we will try to pivot from here. But we will try our hardest.
Hey, it's Will Johnson here. I have an intellectual disability and I am pursuing my dream. Step into my office and I'll tell you about it. I believe every person with a disability should have the opportunity to work. Working means so much to me. Working means like I can have my own, I don't have to depend on no one, I can have my freedom.
My computer's freezing.
Paycheck. Ultimately, Paycheck has really helped me to become more independent and also hold a full-time job. Now let's break down my transition journey. I actually started with high school. I was in a special ed class, self-contained class. I only had like just that one class, and being in a self-contained classroom made me feel like I could only do just that one class, and I wasn't able to venture out. Before leaving high school, I was presented with Paycheck. Paycheck helped me enroll into courses at a local community college, take 3 classes with other students my age. So the classes I took was personal finances, college readiness, customer service. Paycheck prepared me for independent living. Paycheck taught me how to manage money, budgeting, how to take the bus. Paycheck also taught me how to advocate for my needs and speak up for myself. Paycheck also took me on a career fair, different work site visits, and I saw multiple different jobs. And I met with different managers and directors. Paycheck also taught me how to talk about the job I wanted, come with a smile, and show up with a resume. I had my first internship at the University Medical Center, and I got paid for it. My job was a patient access. So what that is, like, I check in patients when they come in for their appointments. At that paid internship, I learned how to greet guests. I learned how to just be friendly and also show up for work on time. And today, I am an administrative coordinator at the Louisiana Youth Center. I love this job because I get to show up to work and be myself. I also get to grow. I also get to connect with others and advocate for inclusion. All right, let's talk about my favorite transition stops. These are elements everyone should include in every transition program. So my first one is self-determination and self-advocate skills. These skills help you live the life that you want. When you advocate for yourself, sometimes you don't always get it right. You mess up, you have the wrong answer, but sometimes you're gonna fall. But that does not mean you can't get back up and try again. You deserve that opportunity, so go forward. So the next one, integrated college courses. These courses help me develop the skills that I need for work. They helped me develop communication skills and decision-making skills. But it was nerve-wracking, it was exciting because I've never experienced like having a lot of people in my class. It was fun because you got to connect with different people and people didn't look at you because of your disability. Now I have a message to families. Families should inspire the youth to go through the ups and downs and live life on life terms. Be willing to hear the youth with a disability, because sometimes we might have some skills that we want to talk about. Sometimes we might have some knowledge that we can share. So listen to the youth and have faith that the individual can't do anything. Tell your child every day that they can do it. Families should be a part of their children's life and just be that ear, be that support person, because we all need somebody. just remember that you are more than your disability. Anything is possible, so keep going no matter how long it takes you. Don't give up just because it don't work out. Keep going, keep the faith. Have faith in yourself and you can overcome any obstacle. Remember to step out of your comfort zone. You have to be willing to get up and go out there and be great in order to succeed. There are resources and community that can support you.
This video summarizes Will Johnson's 2024 AUCD poster, The Will to Overcome, in his own words. View his poster and learn more about the Paycheck program at www.hdc.lsuhsc.edu. Paycheck is a program of the Human Development Center at LSU Health New Orleans, Louisiana's University Center for Excellence in Developmental Disabilities.
Thank you, Stephanie. So Will just kind of shared his journey about Paycheck. And what really happens in Paycheck is that they partner students with a local community college. And so they take classes over 3 semesters, really just to learn important life skills. And then they also participate in work-based learning services. And then they also participate in pre-employment transition services. And so all of that kind of done in collaboration with LRS in order to be able to support the cost of them participating in these experiences. But it has been a successful program. Our goal is always, once they complete the 3-semester program, that they end up in full-time employment. Any questions?
This is Jim. I just wanted to.
Here, we're gonna.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to give Will a quick shout out. He was the keynote speaker for yesterday's Empowerment Through Employment virtual conference, and he did an excellent job. So I was able to attend a little bit in the morning, and I got to hear his keynote, and I thought it was great. So just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention as well.
Thank you, Ms. Constant. Any other questions before we move on? Okay, no questions. Okay, our next agenda item is an update from LRS. Melissa Bam will now give her update.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I think the first item that y'all wanted me to give an update was a legislative update. And so I'm going to read a couple of notes that was actually just sent to us yesterday from our national organizations have contracts with consulting type firms that keep up with legislation for us at the federal level. And so just some brief notes from them. So the administration has executed an interagency agreement between the Department of Education and the Department of Health and Human Services to transfer OSERS, which is the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, activities to HHS, which is Health and Human Services. So you probably have heard me give updates that we anticipated that the vocational rehabilitation program, which is under the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, and under that is the Rehabilitation Services Administration, would be moved to potentially the Department of Labor. I was kind of surprised by this, but as of right now, the interagency agreement was made to move OSERS, which is where special education falls and rehabilitation services falls, into the Department of Health and Human Services. Now, statutorily, vocational rehabilitation is still under the Department of Education, but as of right now, it's being administered through this interagency agreement through the Department of Health and Human Services. Now, some of the other updates that they gave, now this was yesterday, but they said that the House Education and Workforce Committee passed legislation codifying the transfer of multiple Department of Education programs to other agencies, but that bill did not include OSERS. And then also tomorrow, which was today, the Senate Help Committee was going to debate and vote on a package of bills related to education, but they did not include OSERS or VR. However, there are some bills related to OSERS that are going to be considered as an addition to the package. So we still don't know anything about that. And they also mentioned that Chairman Cassidy has a bill that will prohibit the transfer of OSERS to the Department of Health and Human Services, but the bill would not prohibit OSERS from being transferred to another federal department. Chairman Cassidy would prefer that it go to the Department of Labor. So I say all that to say at the federal level, it's kind of crazy. But as of right now, we are under the Rehabilitation Services Administration. They sent us, the acting commissioner sent us a nice letter basically saying that yes, administratively, there is an interagency agreement. And to move us to the Department of Health and Human Services, or they executed that interagency agreement. However, nothing looks different for us in terms of how we receive our grant award at this point. The people who we interact with, none of that has changed. How it looks for them in Washington, I'm not sure, but everything has remained the same for us. So that's my legislative update. Just some other updates for LRS. The summertime is really busy for us in terms of our counselors have to do what we call annual reviews. So we have all of our students in post-secondary education. We have to get their report cards. We have to get their grade reports and make sure that they're making satisfactory academic progress. We have to check their financial status every year. So my staff is really busy, basically working on our students in post-secondary education. But we will be gearing up for another school year for pre-employment transition services. So we're doing a good job spending the 15% set aside for pre-employment transition services. Almost a little too good. We're kind of getting to the point where we are exceeding it or could be exceeding it at to a certain extent. So we've kind of had to look at our activities. We had a large pilot program with one of our vendors called Opportunity Next. And so essentially we're going to this year, we won't be having that pilot program anymore. And everyone meaning all vendors will have the same amount of units, which is going to be 105. So it was 96, but the individuals in the pilot were receiving two sets of units of 120. So just don't think about all those numbers. Now everybody's going to be at 105. All students will have 105 units of pre-employment transition services to help them with those particular services before they move into the vocational rehabilitation program. And we also are going to limit work-based learning experiences to one experience. One other pre-employment transition services update. We do have one new third-party cooperative arrangement starting in August, and that will be in Lincoln Parish. And that particular third-party cooperative arrangement partially is a product of the Disability Innovation Fund grant through the Department of Education, our State Department of Education, and their efforts and their work that they've done to promote third-party cooperative arrangements with the school districts participating in that particular grant. So other updates in terms of, we are in the process of promulgating our state rule. So our state rule is essentially all the basic policies of LRS. And so in order to change that, we have to go through the state promulgation process. And so we have gotten through the majority of that process. We've had public comment. We've had our hearing. And so now we're just waiting for things to get finalized. And if all goes well, that will be finalized on August the 20th. There's just two main major changes in that particular rule package. One being that we basically rewrote our financial need policy so that if we continue to receive additional funds and if we get the staffing in place that we need, at some point, hopefully, we will be able to not require any of our services to be based on financial need. But the way our state rule was previously written, there was no option. It had to be 250 to 500% of the poverty guidelines. And we rewrote it in a way that if we get into a good position, a good financial position, a good staffing position, we will have the opportunity to be able to quote unquote turn that off until whatever time that we are not able to do that anymore. So that gives us that option, and we did not have that option before. And the other thing that won't be anything that will affect anyone in the near future, but we will have an option if we get into a position where we're on order of selection, which means we're on a waiting list. We could serve people outside of the order of selection who just need services to maintain employment. We could serve those individuals even if they're in a closed category or essentially would have been on the waiting list. So those are the two primary rules that we changed that, and some of it was just cleanup. As I've told you all before, we've changed our name, or the department has changed their name from Louisiana Workforce Commission to Louisiana Works. So it was a lot of just cleanup language for that. The last update I'll give is on human resources. We are hiring additional staff. As you all know, I hope you all know, very thankful for all the advocacy of the DD Council and others that we were able to secure 2 million extra state general funds. So wasn't what we were hoping for, but very grateful, and we're gonna be able to do a lot of great things with it. And so we are in the process of hiring 16 job appointments. Job appointments are essentially positions within state government when you don't have enough funded positions. And so we're going to be hiring 11 new rehabilitation counselors and 5 rehabilitation counselor associates. So those are my updates, but happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much, Melissa. As she stated, any questions? Okay, with no questions, next we have an up.
Sorry, Melinda has her hand.
Okay, the chair recognizes Ms. Melinda.
Hey,
Hi.
so I'm one of the people across the state that helped and has been helping advocate for funding for LRS before it was ever on the council's legislative agenda. And I'm getting questions from people that, I'm working with so that they advocate that they're not seeing a whole lot of more employment services for people with developmental disabilities. I'm wondering what kind of data you have about people that you served with developmental disabilities before we've advocated for these past couple of years, and whether we can start getting a report on, and whether we can start getting a report on that.
Sure, I can see how we could be able to give that to you. As of right now, we do report in our report that we submit to the DD Council. We do show the number of individuals that we're serving, and I believe we still send that by disability group. If not, we can certainly do that. But I think you're asking for a comparison, and we certainly can do that. I will tell you, we have definitely increased in terms of the number of participants that we're serving. Are we where I want to be at this point? Not completely. We are still very much in the hiring process. We have a lot of new rehabilitation counselors, which is great, but we have a lot of new counselors. And so we still aren't at the point where we're doing a lot of outreach because we only have the capacity to serve the people who refer themselves to our offices or get referred to our offices. So, but I can certainly get some more data for you. That's certainly not a problem.
Well, and I'm looking for a little bit deeper data than just the total number before and after this funding, like what kinds of services are being funded.
I guess I would need some more information on that because what I'll call the menu of services, so the services that Louisiana Rehabilitation Services provides has not changed. The federal regulations basically stipulate which services that you can provide through vocational rehabilitation, and those are the services that we're providing. Off the top of my head, what I can tell you is that I think we've talked in this meeting, I'm sure, about the I'm trying to think of what they're called. We call them comprehensive transition programs, but they're the programs that are on post-secondary campuses, LSU, Nichols, ULL, those inclusive education programs specifically designed for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. I can tell you that they continue to have more of those programs, and LRS funds the majority of the students in those programs. So we definitely have increased the services that we are providing to this particular population because there are more services available for these individuals. But we also provide the services that we've been providing since I was a counselor 20 years ago for this population, which typically is support employment services, but also other job supports, job placement services, job readiness training. You know, our services have not changed, if that makes sense.
Thank you,
Okay.
Melissa.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, if there's no other questions, we'll go to the next update, which is from Louisiana Department of Education. Lauren Wells will now give her update.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. So sharing with you just an update from our Division of Diverse Learners. So the first update is our SEEP, our Special Education Advisory Panel. We met last month, June 17th, and just sharing with you some of the information that was discussed. We had some informational reports. So one of the reports that was of particular interest and received in a really positive way was from an AIM member, the Assistant Director of AIM, Justin Sims. He shared with us an assistive technology accommodations update that is currently under review. So their team, he has conducted or developed, I should say, a work group really looking at current assistive technology accommodations on a student's IEP and just updating some of those accommodations with appropriate language. For example, I think a keyboard, a typewriter was still listed as an accommodation. So just wanting to make sure that those accommodations are updated with current verbiage that reflects a student's true AT need. So that accommodation update is currently underway and set to release for the next school year. But again, that was received really positively because I think our panel members realize what a need that area is. And then some other updates that were discussed during SEEP included some bulletin revisions that are currently underway. Those bulletins are simply in response to our 2026 legislative sessions. So we had some discussion around ABA during that legislative session, some discussion around self-contained camera viewing. And so based on a result of that legislation, our policies are being updated to just align with the current bills. So that was a quick SEEP update. Also just sharing with you some stakeholder outreach and engagement that has occurred throughout the summer for our division. So the first item that I have for you was just presentations from our our division at LASIA. That is the Louisiana Association of Special Education Administrators, excuse me. And so that was a 3-day conference. There were over 200 special education leaders and service providers there. So we were really excited about the outreach that occurred there. And then also the ARCS Parent Summit. So we had the opportunity to also attend at that Parent Summit. That's an event really centered around parents or caregivers of students with disabilities. So we had representation from our team there as well. And then we are currently planning for the upcoming school year. So our team is centered around field support, so offering school support for basically as a tiered approach based on LEAP data, based on technical assistance or compliance needs. And so as we plan for the upcoming school year, we also have 2 events that we're sharing out. So the first is our Pupil Appraisal Institute. That's going to be held at our Claiborne building in Baton Rouge. It occurs next month, August 14th, and it's centered around our pupil appraisal teams in the school systems. So just an opportunity for them to come together, network together, and then a full day of learning around policy implementation, specific to strengthening of their evaluation practices. I believe this is the 3rd PA Institute that's been hosted by our team and held at the Claiborne building. And I think the event just grows each year. So we're really excited for that upcoming event. And then the last item I just wanted to share with everyone, again, as we plan for events, this is our English Learner Institutes, and there's actually 4 that occur throughout the school year. These are designed for our English learner coordinators, our L directors, district leaders, those that are really responsible for the L programming in their school district. Those are the individuals encouraged to attend. And the first L Institute, also taking place at the Claiborne building in Baton Rouge, but also scheduled for next month, August 26th. So just wanted to share those upcoming events, as again, we're really excited for those. And I think the attendance continues to grow every year, which is exciting for us. All right, that was my brief diverse learner update. I will answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you, Dr. Wells. As she stated, any questions for her?
That I see online anyway.
Okay. If there's no questions, we're going to move on to the next update. Now we have a legislative update from Ebony Haven.
You guys are moving so quickly through the agenda today. So the first update I have, Melissa already spoke about it in her report, but we are also excited about all of the success that we had during the legislative session this past session, and she already spoke that we, LaCan and other disability advocates were successful in getting $2 million additional dollars for LRS. That wasn't the $6.8 million that we were hoping for, but we were happy to receive that $2 million. I kind of want to bring up a couple of other bills that are included in my executive director's report, but I wanted to kind of highlight them here in this particular committee. There were 2 bills by Representative Newell that we were a little concerned about. The first one was HB 283, and that particular bill that she wrote could have punished students with developmental disabilities for behaviors that would have been related or could have been related to their disability without fully considering their needs or their rights. So we did express concerns to Representative Newell's office, and an amendment was, and the Senate Education Committee. So there was actually an amendment that was added in Senate Education to that bill, just to make sure that it didn't conflict with any state or federal laws pertaining to the rights and discipline of students with disabilities. But we still have concerns, even though there was an amendment that was added to the bill, we still have concerns that the amendment may miss students with the 504 plan and those that have yet to be diagnosed with the disability. So we did express those concerns, but, that bill did pass and now it's Act 539. Another bill that Representative Newell had, during session was HB 133. And in its original form, again, this would have punished students with developmental disabilities for behaviors related to their disabilities. Again, especially if they hadn't been diagnosed yet. We did reach out again and express our concerns, and there were amendments that were taken into consideration for students with IDD, and those that have yet to be evaluated for possible IDD. So, that bill passed as well as Act 617. And then one final bill that I wanted to mention was, by Representative Knox. It was HB 342. And this bill, we were very happy to see this session because this has been something that I think families have been concerned about for a while. And that bill actually changes who has to prove whether a student's special education services are appropriate during a dispute between the family and the schools. So initially, the families were responsible for proving that the services were not appropriate. And I am happy to say with this bill that Representative Knox brought this session, it changes it where the schools and not the families must provide the evidence to prove that their special education program that they have in place for that student is appropriate and meeting their needs. So that takes the burden off the families, which we were really, really excited about. Another bill that we were excited about, I know that I said that was the last one, but it's one more, was House Bill 352, and that was by Representative Shane Mack. And this bill is actually gonna require schools to allow medically necessary services, including in classrooms and during instructional time. And it limits delays and barriers to access to those medically necessary services while the students are in school. So that was a bill that we did contact the Senate Education on just to express our positive feedback and support from the council. And I think that is all, Renata, unless anybody had any questions.
Thank you, Ebony. Are there any questions before we move on? Yes, Chair recognizes Eric Taylor.
You said it was some stuff that we was concerned about. Is it something that we, as a board, that's stuff we deal with? Just
So the Education and Employment Committee deals with all things related to education. Whenever we're following bills during the legislative session, we try to follow any bills that may affect students with disabilities and inform this committee specifically about those education bills. And I can just tell you that that bill from Representative Knox, it has been, I think it's been a concern for families for a while now because the burden of proof to prove that the schools were providing the appropriate supports and services for students had always been on the families. And so if you're having to hire a lawyer, I know I was listening to one of the committee meetings, and one of the testimonies was that the family was in the thousands of hundreds of dollars paying for a lawyer to prove that the services that the school was providing weren't appropriate. So now it takes the burden off the families to prove that, and it puts it on to the schools. So the school has to prove that the services and supports that they're providing are appropriate for the student.
So basically just pushing the schools to be accountable.
Yes.
for what they do.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. Next is an update on contractual activities. Stephanie will now share her update.
Sure. So I'm gonna give an update on the transition to adulthood. On contracts. Think, yeah, somebody sharing that, So they have done, technically, they've done three trainings. But for this quarter, they have done two that are being reported right now. They've trained 29 people. They will have two more done by the end of this week, but that'll be reported. The rest of them will be reported, obviously, by the last quarter, but, all of them have been scheduled, and I did send out an LADDC news, I wanna say it was on like June 4th or so, with all of the July dates and registration links, so you can still register for the July 31st one if you're interested in going to the Baton Rouge transition to adulthood, so building independent life skills and waivers. That is in the Baton Rouge area. I don't remember the times off the top of my head. I couldn't look them up, but it is on the flyer and it's on the registration link also. Then there will be that last one on August 5th. That's in Shreveport. And that'll be on waivers and health and well-being. You can go to both, you can go to one. It's technically two separate sessions. The contractor Team Dynamics, they did send out surveys for everybody, like the survey was sent out. We sent those surveys out to our listserv and put them on Facebook to get feedback for like what days work best, what times work best, to try to get more people going, more people involved, which is why a lot of these are later and they're in the summer, because this is geared towards students. So that's why they're in that April, July, and even that early August timeframe, because those are the times, or those are the months that people selected, and then the times are the times that people selected. And the same for what I'm trying to say? What they're gonna talk about, the sessions. So those were all part of the survey. And that is all that I have for that update on the transition to adulthood. This will be the last, this contract will not be moving forward into the next 5-year plan, so this will be the last little bit of training for this one, though. It has changed into the next activity. It's a little bit different than what it is right now. Have any questions I can answer?
Thank you, Stephanie. As you stated, any questions, feel free to ask at this time.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have one more thing and I just remembered it. I'll be sending out another LADDC news. Probably now. Just with those last couple of ones, because I didn't realize that one was August 5th. So I'll try to send that out maybe tomorrow with that registration link, because I thought it was later in August, because the other one for the other activities were later in August. They were at the end of August, but I can go ahead and send that one out with that registration link since it is next week. I just realized how early it was, that it was earlier in August, but I'll send out those August ones tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Any questions before we move on? Any public comments?
So, see,
Okay, we will now move to announcements. July 30th is the full council meeting. It begins at 10 a.m. in this room. Many committee members have any announcements?
Ebony, did you want to mention the guest tomorrow?
Oh, yes, I can mention the guests, Renata, okay. Tomorrow, at 1:15, if we stay on schedule, the Medicaid Executive Director will be attending our meeting. And he will be talking about the upcoming, changes to Medicaid regarding the work requirements. So I encourage all of our public members and our council and committee members to attend, because that's gonna be some really important information about those changes that are scheduled to happen in January 2027. So just making sure you guys are aware that he'll be here. And he has provided his presentation, and I'll share that with the council tomorrow.
Thank you, Ebony.
Oh, Dr.
The chair recognizes Dr. Wells.
Hey, thank you. I just wanted to confirm, I know you referenced tomorrow the in-person meeting, but it can also occur the virtual option.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. No, just wanted to make sure.
In person or virtually, this is a virtual meeting, so yeah, you can definitely attend virtually as well, yeah.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes Eric Taylor.
You said that representative come on, did they come to you or did they come to speak? I just got a question. I mean, how did that happen? I'm just saying.
So he actually reached out to me to come and present to the council, which I thought was very proactive of Medicaid. And I reached out to our chair to make sure that it was okay if he was added to the agenda, and she approved it. And I commend him for wanting to get out in front of the changes that are coming up.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are fearful that those work requirements may affect their Medicaid, or, they may lose services. So he'll be here to answer those questions for you all and to just kind of explain and walk through what those changes are gonna look like.
Right. The reason why I asked that, because I wish somebody from SSI reach out to us so we'll know the requirements of what we can do or cannot do with the fundings we get on that side. That's why I asked the question, if it makes sense.
Would like someone to come.
I would like somebody to come, and then we'll know what we can do on that side and not always be shut up in a box. Saying if I do this, I'm gonna lose this if I do that. If we actually hear it from somebody who will understand it better than outside.
Okay. Everyone's right. Okay, any other announcements? Okay, if there are no announcements and no objections, we will adjourn. Any objections to that? Okay, hearing none, I adjourn the meeting at 5:10. Y'all have a good evening.
thank you.